All right, Courtney. Hey, so we're back here at the greenhouse. I wanted to shoot a video today. Ira and myself spent most of the morning figuring out exactly where we need to start first, what our most important issues are, and then did a whole overview of the entire house, what the issues are and what you should and need to change versus what might be some options. We'll start with kind of outside. We'll get started with that. Okay, so you can kind of see up in your rafters of where your roof is, how much work we're actually going to need to do. You can see how nasty all your zinc is underneath, the rusting spots on your zinc, a little bit of the mold, and some splitting going on with your wood. All that we'll get a more exact count once we completely tear out all this. You can see the pine versus your hardwood. We need to get all that pine out of there because pine's not going to work, but we'll be able to give you a good overview. I wanted to show you this back wall right here, how it all just kind of needs to be re-raspayoed, which is just a layer of stucco on this wall because it's completely unfinished, and you can see it's not plumb. Whoever built this place didn't do a really good job craftsman-wise, but we can cover this up with a layer of cement to kind of give it this look, and then finished. It doesn't need to be finished nicely, it can be finished rough, just so we can slap some paint on there to protect these bricks over the years. So we're in your kitchen, and we have a few ideas for your kitchen. Obviously, if you want to do anything, a cafe, or just have to any kind of a kitchen right now, we're going to need to get rid of this big, nasty hunker. This thing's way too high. Especially if you have, Nicaraguan women in here cooking for you. It's going to need to be lower. Your sink's gross. I was thinking we'd do a big double industrial sink. But you can see all this wood is basically shot. The whole thing's kind of gross. Random chafing stuff in there. But we need to get rid of this. I would say, if you want to hold on to it, it's going to be more work than it's worth to try and get it up to par, rather than just to rip it out and start over again. But these are some of the things that we need to start doing first before we get into redoing your roof. Because if we're going to work under here and it's going to get really dirty, the more we realize, the more that we rip down, the more we realize it's a good idea to hold off on the roof until at least the masonry work is completely done. So this would be included in the demo. We get all the demo and all the masonry work out. So with regards to your windows, the glass itself is really old and kind of bottom of the line, really. It's plate glass, so it's dangerous. If these were to ever break and someone was standing underneath here, you could cut your finger off. That's why all glass today is tempered. It's not like your car glass where it's going to stick together, but if it breaks, it'll shatter into a million pieces, so it doesn't. You'll probably cut your hand if you put your hand through it, but this will cut somebody's head off if it breaks. So we don't typically use this stuff anymore. It's super brittle, fragile. If there's an earthquake or anything, this stuff's going down. The wood itself is a little termite damaged and nasty, not to mention some of the gaps in between them. So if I were you, we need to rip all this out, which is all one connected from the door frame over to this wall. There's a few things we can do. Your laurel butt, the tongue and groove that's up here, which actually is not quite tongue and groove, some parts in the middle, as a wooden wall. I say we get rid of that as well and let the masonry guys come in here and do a whole new top wall and just add windows here and add your door frame, all from smaller vigas, which are your columns, and brick again, which won't be that high of a cost. And of course we can salvage any of the materials that you need. Like I was thinking, all this slatting material can be used on, to build one of your bunk beds, or add some wooden features or trim material. Anything that we're going to tear down, we're going to take a long look at, see what we can reuse and where we can reuse it. Like I was thinking, once you redo these windows, this is kind of cool. Get rid of this dangerous glass, this dangerous window, take it out, maybe put in a couple of photos of Amarillo or something, antique the hell out of it, and hang it on one of the walls in the bedrooms. Obviously we're going to try and save as much as this stuff, but this has the same problem. I know you might want to do the open window for the cafe, so this is probably going to come out itself as well, so we're going to get started on that. One other thing I wanted to touch on with the kitchen just real quick was that Ira and myself were thinking, if you wanted to, since you're going to have an outdoor shower, or if you even wanted to put a full bath in here, we wouldn't have to knock out any walls. We could add some walls, since we're going to add this wall here, or since we should continue these walls up. it wouldn't be hard maybe to add a bathroom in here and turn this into a master bedroom, giving you 3 rentals versus 2, and do an outdoor kitchen. Now, of course, that's something that we'll talk about, but just to kick around ideas, seems like there's enough room to do a small, shower, shitter, and vanity right here with a door right there, and then have your bedroom here. And then wall up this door jamb and just have it be here. Have the master bedroom have the ocean view. Have a big window here instead of a serving window, and do a sweet outdoor kitchen. Maybe something. So we're standing in your back east bedroom, and I'm thinking, again, plate glass. We're gonna want to replace that. We can resand down these windows. These aren't that bad, but again, that plate glass, we're probably gonna want to redo it. I would go with aluminum, just because aluminum is gonna last a lot longer. But we can do the wood if you like the wooden touch. But again, replace the windows. You can see how we kind of need to do some unique finishing work where some of your wooden beams for the roof don't quite meet the junction of your wall where the blocks have been laid up. We can fix that with some crown molding. There's some foam material we can plaster and create crown molding. It's all kinds of things we can do. You can see the old where they left the bricks. We're gonna lift all that up to the old zinc, so when we lay the new stuff on, and whether you go with cane or wood or whatever you wanna do, it can be joined up to it, so when we finish it, it'll be hidden by trim, or we just finish it with a small amount of masonry work to touch it up. Because the masonry work, it gets so dirty in here, I wanna do that first. We need to raise all these walls up. Again, it'll be block, cement, sand, a little bit of 1/2-inch gravel, that kind of stuff is the first amount of materials that we're gonna need to buy before we even get into the roof. You can see this crazy cobweb nastiness of electric. That's kind of what I wanted to get into next. Your electric, I think we're gonna need to rewire the entire house. Not only is it wired poorly, but the materials where it's all joined, it's really cheap wire where a lot of it's burned out because they're hooked in illegally. A lot of electricity moving through here. Different areas have gone bad. It's all plastic conduit, which is nasty. But I was thinking to not have to break into your walls and cover your electric in your walls. If you like, which I think is a great look, on the finishing all with galvanized tube conduit, so it's exposed electrical, which are all hidden in galvanized tubes, but kind of gives that modern, that cool modern industrial look to it. And I'll show you some photos online. But I think if we do that, wherever you want an outlet, a switch, we redo that, we get a new breaker box in here, so that, as of now, if you're in the kitchen and you used a blender, all your lights would start dimming. That's how badly this place is wired. So we can rewire it, and it won't be, I don't think, that much of a cost, especially if we're not breaking into all your walls.
Let's go into the bathroom.
You're going to want a new door. This door is completely warped and nasty with crappy. I kind of like that look. It's not a bad look, but these doors are really warped and gnarly. So new doors, new door jambs. You're going to need. This is all that pine stuff that we're ripping out right now that was holding that crappy ceiling onto it. So in here, if you want, and I think we talked about this, we want to just continue again with the masonry up so that you have a more vaulted, open feel in the bathroom itself. There's a few things that we can do. These tiles are new. It's not actually the craftsmanship on it. The work's not that bad. It's just that it came up too high. We're never going to be able to install a vanity or a medicine cabinet or even a mirror above it. So we can bring it down to this line, or we can rip it all out if you don't like the colors for it. But the flooring, I would redo. It looks like 1970s, and it's kind of ugly. You don't have to. But this toilet itself is a small, cheap little toilet that's always had problems. I would put an American Standard in here, get a new toilet in here, and sink combo. And I think the total cost of that's around $200. A nice sink and a nice toilet. And then do something about this tile. Get a new vanity in there, and then in the shower, I don't mind this white tile. It's clean, it's new. Like I said, the work's pretty straight. It's not that bad. But new fixtures. And if you wanted to do hot water, there's some on-demand hot water heaters that are either electric or gas. Gas is way more efficient. We could do exposed galvanized tubing. Again, have this maybe be your foot washer with just a spigot, and then have your two hot and cold your exposed, galvanize up to a new, you know, maybe even like a low pressure shower head or something. And then here we need to think about whether you want sliding glass door, whether you want those glass blocks that can kind of come up and do this, but just kind of hide, you know, if you're taking a shower, just kind of hide the nakedness. But I wouldn't deal with a shower curtain. Those curtains are just kind of nasty. So also, what we were thinking is maybe what you could do with the shower itself, inside to kind of give it a little bit more of an organic feel. I don't know, we've done some cedar planks, which are great. It's a big grate that would fill the entire area. So when you get in there with your bare foot, you've got that cedar plank, kind of that beachy shower vibe to it. Your cleaning lady can pull it up, clean underneath it, get all the sand out, put it back down, and that cedar never rots. It's got that oil on it. It's pretty nice. It's a cool little feature that we like to add. And then with regards to the window, I would just put an aluminum one slide window in here as well. And of course with adjacent bars, but better than just rebar, something nicer than rebar. Okay. So this is we're thinking where your outdoor shower is going to be. That's where it is now. And of course this piping and tubing is kind of gross and plastic and a lot of PVC, and see how they just kind of melted it. It's nasty to get it to form to the tree. Obviously we do something galvanized tubing, or even if you like copper, I know you weren't really into the copper, but something that's going to be a lot cleaner and nicer. I was thinking we could do around this tree would be a cool idea, is have a rock wall at 7 foot high where you'd enter here, come around the tree into it like a big caracole with the shower head right above you. And maybe even do like the old school beach showers where you just pull down and the water comes out and you can connect it to a little hook, come up with, you know, your rock little ledges here for soap and stuff, and have the whole thing be just covered in moss and plants and be all funky and cool, and come around this tree, because I thought that'd be a good way to cover up the PVC piping here, which is actually what you're going to need to keep if you keep your tower, your tank in the tree. Now your tank is in the tree, and it's a good idea. I would do a bigger tank, but the wood that you're using is pine. Whoever built it in pine. That's not going to last more than a year and a half, which is dangerous because you've got all that heavy water up in your tree. So we're going to need to redo that as well, if that's what you want to do with your gravity. You know, other than the other options are, we could dig a big hole and put cisterns, underground cisterns, and you could work off a pressure pump system that's more moving parts this close to the ocean and more electricity. So for me, you know, we have that at the lodge, and constantly we have maintenance people working on it all the time, so it always works. But if you're going to be a little bit more hands-off here, I think your tank in the tree on gravity is going to be the best way to feed these houses. So I like this idea. It works good. The tree is strong enough, but it just needs to be, we need to change that wood from pine to a hardwood that the termites aren't going to attack and the mold's not going to eat away at.